Let's jump right into this explainer because today we're decoding the mesmerizing geometry of something we're calling the golden solar sovereign anchor. Now, we aren't just looking at a beautiful piece of art here. We're actually exploring a highly engineered tool for the mind. We're going to unpack exactly why imagery like this holds such unbelievable power over our attention and really our entire cognitive state. Take a really close look at this intricately carved golden artifact. I mean, it is absolutely stunning, right? But ask yourself, what underlying structure actually holds this brilliant design together? Because, this isn't just about aesthetics. In practices like neurojourney coaching, images exactly like this are used specifically for brain entrainment. The geometry you're seeing is literally designed to interact directly with your neural pathways. Think about it. When you first encounter a highly structured mandala-like emblem like this one, where does your eye naturally go? It's instinctively pulled inward, right to the very center. It is almost magnetic. This happens because our brains are completely hardwired to seek order and find a focal point amidst complexity. So this immediate visual funneling, that is the very first step in quieting all of the mind's background noise. So let's break this down into 3 steps. First, we'll look at the central orb, then the 12-pointed radiance, and finally, the complex filigree web. All right, let's start with layer 1, the central focal orb. This is the absolute center, the true nucleus of the anchor. Notice how this perfectly smooth, raised dome acts as a super solid visual anchor amid all that surrounding complexity. Just look at it. There are no patterns, no carvings. In the context of brain entrainment, this pristine center actually acts as a trigger for prefrontal cortex activation. It essentially demands your executive attention, giving your mind this place of pure, unadorned stillness to just rest upon before it processes the rest of the image. It's a classic rule. Contrast commands attention. By leaving that innermost sphere completely unadorned and surrounding it with that deep, shadow-catching groove, it immediately commands your absolute focus. That sharp contrast between the smooth gold and the dark ring of shadow effectively turns on your brain's focusing mechanisms. It grounds you completely in the present moment. Moving on to layer 2, the 12-pointed radiance. As we expand outward from that central stillness, we hit this array of intricate, petal-like structures bursting symmetrically from the center. From a neurocoaching perspective, this outward rhythmic expansion is totally fascinating. Those sharp, repeating points are actually associated with stimulating gamma wave production in the brain. And you know gamma waves, right? They're the fastest brain waves we have, directly linked to peak concentration, high-level cognitive functioning, and those sudden aha moments of insight. Now, the number 12 here? Absolutely no accident. 12 creates a perfect mathematical rhythm, dividing this massive circle into distinct, easily processable slices that guide your eye outward. It's a highly composite number, which just means our brains can easily recognize its symmetry in halves, thirds, and quarters. This kind of mathematical predictability allows your brain to process some seriously intense visual stimulation without ever feeling overwhelmed. Think about the smooth central stillness versus that sharp outward energy. That contrast creates a really dynamic visual tension. You have pure grounding right in the center, and then this high-frequency cognitive stimulation radiating outward. It is a perfect push and pull that keeps your brain highly engaged, but still beautifully anchored. And that brings us to layer 3, the complex filigree web. So, to really appreciate this dense outer rim, we need to quickly touch on the definition of filigree. Filigree is this technique that relies on delicate, highly intricate ornamental work of intertwined patterns. It is incredibly complex and woven, requiring the eye to follow these endless, looping pathways. Just look closely at those dense, interlocking loops and floral motifs. They're carved in deep relief, casting shadows that give the whole thing immense depth. In neurojourney coaching, this intricately woven outer layer perfectly mirrors the concept of neuroplasticity. Just like these golden loops intertwine to build a larger structure, our own neural pathways weave, connect, and strengthen whenever we learn new things and adapt to new ways of thinking. We're looking at deep relief carving, interlocking loops, swirling floral motifs, and outer star points. These all work together to ensure that even at the very edge of this massive design, it maintains strict structural integrity. Those smaller star points at the border, they basically act as final mental boundary markers. It's kind of like cognitive bubble wrap, keeping the whole mental exercise safely locked in place. Okay, let's talk about the power of radial symmetry. How do all these highly detailed layers combine to actually impact our brain state? Well, the entire anchor is a masterclass in radial symmetry. This is perfect symmetry around a central axis, where all elements radiate from a common center point. And here's the secret sauce. This type of symmetry is deeply, inherently satisfying to the human brain. It creates a powerful state of visual entrainment. Because every single detail perfectly mirrors itself across that central axis, our minds don't see overwhelming chaos. They perceive perfectly ordered harmony. Even with thousands of tiny details, your brain only has to figure out the pattern once. After that, it knows exactly what to expect. Symmetrical patterns are actually processed way faster by our visual cortex than random ones. This perfect structural balance completely prevents visual and cognitive fatigue. We're getting order born from complexity here. That absolute structural balance is exactly why we can stare at such a dense, hyper-detailed image without feeling completely exhausted. The geometry itself is doing the heavy lifting, organizing the information for us. It takes this staggering complexity and basically hands it to our brains as pure, digestible order. So, how might surrounding ourselves with structural balance influence our daily clarity and focus? I want to leave you with this provocative thought to wrap up our explainer. If pure, radially symmetrical geometry can so effortlessly guide our eyes, activate our focus, and create a real sense of internal harmony, what's the profound impact of the art, the environments, and the structures we choose to surround ourselves with every single day? Think about the geometry of your own life. Thanks for diving into this with me today, and keep exploring the patterns around you.